Hello Year 2, I hope you're all doing really well. This is the story for week 12 and it's called Katie Morag and the Summer Visitors. Many visitors come on holiday to the island in the summer. Katie Morag's mother and father are forever emptying boxes and stacking shelves, polishing the counter and fussing around the holiday people. Katie Morag gets very bored. One summer, Mrs. McCall decided to make a fancy arrangement in the shop window for the visitors to admire. "Go down to the shore, Katie Morag, for some sand and seaweed, just to add the finishing touch," said Mrs. McCall as she stacked a pyramid of beach balls under an archway of buckets and spades. "And anything else that would look good," she added. Katie Morag shovelled a layer of sand and then a layer of seaweed into her bogie. A bogie is sort of a cart. She scanned the tide line. Farther along the shore there was something strange. Dark and shiny, it looked like a wet rumpled jacket, but it was moving. The sleeve bit was waving at her. Katie Morag was more interested than frightened. What could have been buttons seemed more like eyes, and sure enough, when Katie Morag got closer, the buttons blinked. "A baby seal!" cried Katie Morag. She looked out to sea. The mother must be hunting for fish in the bay. Katie Morag looked long and hard, but no head bobbed up out of the waves to check all was well with the pup. The seal pup stared at Katie Morag with large, appealing eyes. "You would look very good in the seaside display," thought Katie Morag. Suddenly the shop was an exciting place to be. "I'll look after you," said Katie Morag. "I'll call you Ron." "Take that seal back where he belongs," exclaimed Mrs. McCall. "He is most definitely not going in my window display." Before she could say more, Ron, with a heave on his flippers, lurched from the bogie onto the window shelf. Buckets and spades and balls went in all directions. Mrs. McCall was furious. Katie Morag raced down to the brae to catch the pouncing balls and bumped into the holiday children. They said that they would help take the seal pup back. Katie Morag had a heavy heart as she pushed Ron down to the water's edge. He flippered away in the sea. No mother came to meet him, and within minutes he was back at Katie Morag's feet. She tried again to shove him off, but the same thing happened again. Back he came. Her new friends cheered. "We'll just have to look after you ourselves then," said Katie Morag, delighted with Ron's return. They sneaked him into the shed when no one was looking and got lots more seaweed for a bed. Mr. McCall's barrel of salt herring was very convenient. Feeding Ron was difficult. He did not like the ferryman's wife's chocolate cake, but he scoffed the leftover fish fingers from Katie Morag's tea. No bother at all. But Katie Morag didn't have fish fingers for tea every day. Soon the barrel of salt herring was empty. "He eats an awful lot," said Jake. "And he's not toilet trained," sniffed Gemma. "Is he?" "Well, no," agreed Katie Morag, wondering. Katie Morag was worried about the empty barrel, but most worried about Ron. She and the holiday children tried dangling their fishing lines over the edge of the old pier, but nobody caught anything. "There are lots of fish in the sea," moaned Katie Morag, "but we are no good at catching them." "I bet Ron could, though, if he really tried." This time when Katie Morag pushed Ron into the sea, they all shouted and yelled when he came back. They banged bits of driftwood together and waved flags of torn netting. The seal looked a bit surprised, but eventually he turned and headed out the deep sea, where the best fishes live. Katie Morag was glad Ron had gone home. She climbed slowly back up the brae to the shop and the post office. "Can my friends come in for tea?" she asked. "Of course," said Mrs. McCall. "As long as they don't eat as much as Ron," smiled Mr. McCall. That night before Katie Morag went to bed, Katie Morag looked out of her window. She was sure she saw Ron's head in the bay. Or was it a beach ball? The end. That's a nice story, isn't it? Have a little think. Why do you think this time they waved and shouted and banged bits of driftwood together and also waved flags of torn netting? We have a little think about why they might have done that. Compared to the first time, he just wanted to come back. But why do you think they might have done that the second time? Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, see you later. Bye.